everybody, Scout Crafty here again, Mishmash Monday. We got a lot to get to today, some just different subjects. Let's get right into it, see what we got going. Okay, next up real quick, my good friend Abe Elias, Canada's most famous knife maker, and myself, we were having a Snapchat on Instagram the other night, and Abe was showing me some of he has a vast screwdriver collection. Who doesn't love screwdrivers? And we were talking about different types, and we got into talking about ratcheting screwdrivers. I thought you might find this interesting. He sent me a screwdriver a couple of years ago that probably is one of the best screwdrivers I've ever seen. I'll show you that in a minute. But let me talk a little bit about some of the different, now, screwdrivers, obviously, there's thousands and thousands of different types of ratcheting. And years ago, the early days of ratcheting, like this is an early one that I bought many years ago, you could hear the ratchet, and watch what happens when I spin it. Okay? I don't get much ratchet, but it worked. But it's kind of a clunky, loud, again, this was early ratcheting. Then this one here, this is a channel lock. Very nice. Code blue. Hear that? Now you can see it's much more smoother. That means that the screw doesn't have to be very tight for this to work. So very nice. One of my favorites. You can see here, this opens up to expose the bits in here. The problem is this rubber, the new rubbers are horrible. They all get dirty. They all get, and this very rarely handled, but look how dirty it is, right? If that bothers you, and it does me. This Craftsman is a solid screwdriver, and I'll show you why we have that. Snap-on was known for having tremendous good, really good ratchets, but listen, as smooth as it is, it's still not perfect. And when I say perfect, that's when Abe sent me this one here. This is called Roll Gear. Again, made in Canada. Abe's from Canada. And this one here is, listen to this. That is beyond beautiful. It is one of those frictionless, like one-way bearings. And you can see when you just turn this the other way, and it's so beautiful to use. Has such a nice handle. Just really nice. And these screwdriver bits are pushed through from the bottom when you want to change it. It's a tight, no rattle. It's just real nice, right? This one here was something a lot of people from the channel found this interesting. And this is a Cobalt. A couple places made these. It's got a, I believe in the back here. Does it? Yeah. It has a cap that you could put extra bits in. But let me show you how this works. This one's interesting because if you hold the collar, it works. See, it has a nice ratcheting, right? It works this way, very smooth. But if you hold the collar, watch the tip as I turn it. 1, 2, it turns both ways. I'll show you how that works in a minute on the screw jig. I set up this screw jig just in the vise here, and I'm going to show you something. This is a regular screwdriver. This Craftsman, it's not, again, this rubber here is nice, but when they start to fail, they go quick. But you can see here, it's not, if you use a screwdriver enough, it's very easy to keep it going back and forth and use it well, especially if it's a nice handle on it. And this works well, non-ratcheting. Here's that snap-on, okay, and you can see the snap-on here. With this type of handle, it's not so intuitive, but it gives you more torque because it is a handle, but you don't get a full swing like you would on some of the other ones. So, and again, the ratcheting on this is nice. I don't use this as much, but very popular screwdriver in mechanics go. This was the DuraPro I've had for such a long time, and again, even though this is clunky and everything, it just seems to work when I need it, and I grabbed it to watch. I don't use a tremendous amount of ratcheting screwdrivers until now. This is Abe's Roll Gear, and look at this. Watch how smooth this is. No noise whatsoever, and so easy to turn back. Just a beautiful screwdriver. I mean, this thing is just lovely screwdriver. The code blue that I like so much, the channel lock, if it didn't get so dirty all the time. It works really good, very smooth in the hand. But again, this grip would annoy me after a while because it does get so dirty. But here's that one that everybody seemed to get a kick out of. This one here. This is the Cobalt, that one that, now watch this. This is very interesting because if I use it with just one hand, it works like a regular ratcheting screwdriver, right? Same thing here. I could back it out like that. However, if I hold this collar, watch the screw and my hand at the same time, see that? It's like every action is doubled. The problem is you don't get a lot of torque out of this. Like if that screw was real hard to go in, I'd have to revert to just using it as a regular ratcheting instead of using the collar like this, because this collar, you know, it's just it's gimmick, but it's cool. So when Abe was showing me his collection, I saw he had a couple of Picquic, and this one here, I happen to see this there, very expensive. This thing runs about, I don't know, $17, $16, whatever. Comes with a bunch of bits, the most used type of bits. There was only a couple left in red. I kind of have a fondness for red. They had a lot of blue. The blue was actually $3 cheaper, but you know me, I like the red. So, and again, made in Canada. So, but the bits are made in Taiwan, which is fine with me. I love Taiwan tools. So let's open this up, see what it looks like, because it's nice packaging, nice, you know, writing on there, and gives you everything you need to know. Let's open it up. Okay, out of the packaging, here we go. Look at this. What a beauty. Well, look at that color, huh? Is that showing up? That is just absolutely beautiful. I love translucent colors. And you can see here, this is how this works. Obviously, it's a magnetic bit. So when this goes in there, it's in there solid. It's not coming out. There's very little slop to it, you know, which is a problem with a lot of interchangeable bits, but it has a real nice feel. These ribs really help you get a grip. Pulling this out and pushing, if we want to pick a bit, let's say we want to pick this, that's the widest Phillips there, number 3. We'll push this down in, you push it in from the bottom here, push it through like this. It gives you good resistance because you know it's not going to fall, you're not going to lose any of these bits, and then just put this one in the top. Let's try it out. It's really nice. Okay, again, we have the number 3 Phillips in there, which is very close to what this should take. This should be a number 3, but you can see here, you know, it has a real nice feel to it. A great grip on here, nothing hard. Has this little area here if you have to push in, and again, this is curved in the back here, in the back, which is very pleasurable on the hand. So it's a very nice screwdriver. I must say, works really well, as you can see. So another Canadian screwdriver. You don't see them too much down here, but this one's a nice one. So I had a good talk with Abe, and this was a fun discussion. Okay, next up, I thought this was pretty interesting. I'm going to be using these are pulleys, or they were drive wheels, or that were taken out of a mechanical apparatus by my buddy Brian, and give it to me. Now, what happens is this is a surface that this would get worn out, and when this got to a certain point that it was worn out, they'd have to toss this and put a new one in. It's only a couple thousandths of an inch thick, so, you know, they didn't get a lot of, you know, many years of service, but, you know, they were meant to break down and replace. So that's why they would toss these. Now, what I found interesting is when they would make these replace, you know, the original ones that came out of there were probably this one here. And you could see the nice finish on here. It had a kind of a clean finish, you know, a shiny finish on both sides. And also, if you look closely around the edges. The edges are all chamfered. You see that? Now, any good machinist, you see that? Any good machinist will always chamfer every edge, you know, because you don't want any, even this edge here is chamfered a slight bit. You don't want a sharp edge, you know. But I'm sure when they were, you know, getting replacement wheels and they sent this out to get it, because if they went to the original company, this thing might cost a couple $100. So what they do a lot of times is they'll send this out to a shop and they'll say, how much to make one of these? And, you know, it might be $30 or whatever, which might seem like a lot, but it's a lot less than whatever the original equipment manufacturer would charge. So now you could see the difference. They have to take shortcuts. So what they do is, even though they still broke this edge, notice this edge over here. It's not, they didn't put a chamfer on this edge or on the back here. They didn't chamfer it. So it's a sharper edge, but they figure it's inside of a apparatus. Nobody's going to touch it. It doesn't have to be. That's how they save money on a job, and that's how they can quote it down. But I'm going to use it as a wheel, so I want that little chamfer on there, not only because it looks good, but because I have to clean these wheels. And if I'm going to use some kind of disc to clean these wheels, if this is a sharp edge, it's going to rip up my disc, so I have to chamfer the edge. Here's one I did. You can see here I got a chamfer. Now, it's difficult to chamfer these edges because, number one, you have to use the right size countersink or chamfering tool. Now, obviously here, they make hundreds and hundreds of different, here's just a couple that I have of countersinks, and you can see there's a great deal. So to get one that'll do the job you're looking for and not touch this outer edge, and you know, that's why they make so many different sizes. And I'm not going to set this up in a jig. I'm just going to hold it up with my hand. I'll show you how. Now, this isn't for the faint of heart, but what I'm going to do here, again, like I said, because it'll take me forever to do all the wheels I have to do, I'm going to hold it up here like that. I'm resting my hands on the vise. And with this turning at a very slow speed, that's another thing. Depending on how many flutes you have to be very specific with your RPMs because they tend to chatter. But again, I'm just doing it so it don't rip up my Scotch-Brite or whatever I use to clean the inside of this wheel. So I have it set for a very slow speed. See, I'll set that at a slow speed, and I'll raise this up gently with my hand, and that's how it will chamfer. You can see here a little bit of chatter on there, but if you go lightly, you could get rid of, a lot of times you can get rid of some of that. But that's how I'm going to chamfer these edges so that I can run a cleaner into this inside disc. See? Now, using this old, which should have been discarded, wire brush, but you see, like Ben Moll says, you don't throw anything away. See here, now this worn out cupped wire brush helped me get in here, and it was just the right size to get in and clean up the outside of a couple of these wheels here. Now I got to clean up the inside, and to do that I'm going to use what's called a roll lock. Roll lock is really handy, especially for you guys that have good air compressors and you have those die grinders, those air die grinders. These things are fantastic. However, they do work in drill presses and things like that at a slower speed. And roll lock is a trade name, I think, of 3M or whatever. But they make these pads. You can get them in all different grits. You know, this one here is I guess a medium. They also come, they have sanding discs you could put on. They're very easy. They use them in body shops and everything, but you need the adapter. You can buy these anywhere. It's a roll lock adapter. And what you do is, you see it just spins on like this. It's just a half a turn, and it's locked on there. And then it's quick, easy change on and off. And we'll use this to try and get the inside that this didn't get because it was a cupped brush. See what the inside looks like there. So in closing, again, that went quick for me today. I hope it went quick for you. And I was able to shoot some really nice footage of the of Old Glory today because it was just a nice breezy day and the sky was nice. Check it out. I hope you enjoy it. Have a great day. We'll see you again on Wednesday. Take care now. Bye-bye.